Welcome to Keys to Success. On this show, we will motivate, educate, and entertain you. Now here's your host, Mr. Kirk Clark. Welcome to yet another program of Keys to Success. And yes, we're on the street and we are still dealing with gender-based violence. Tonight, we're in front of the building of Action Coach, and we're going to get in and talk to Mr. Durga in a bit. He's going to share some of the ideas of how he can help curb gender-based violence from out of the workplace. We're going to deal with it from a leadership perspective and the mindsets of people. So Mr. Durga is going to share his thoughts and his bits upon it. But if you, the viewer, have some thoughts that you would love to see us cover on this show, send me an email. The email address is right now on the screen. Send me that email so I can know some of the topics that you would love to be covered. If you want your name to be mentioned, put your name in it. If you don't want your name to be mentioned, let's just leave it anonymous. All right? But of course, send me that email. The address is right on the screen, and you will have your views shared in the program. As somebody was telling me the other day, a husband murdered a wife for the reason, again, gender-based violence, the whole violence against us. We need to stop this. So the symposium again is coming up in June, July. We're going to get you active in that as well. We want you to know when we start to work it out. We're going to get the dates for you. Gary visited me and we spoke and we had something worked out, and we're going to get more as time comes down a little bit. We're going to get some advertising done. But again, gender-based violence is a serious thing, and we're starting this show and we're starting it on a heavy way, and I want you to know that violence in any form, any way, abuse in any form and in any way is wrong, and we need to stop it. Let's go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, lots more happening on Keys to Success. For the best commercial signage and so much more, call Fast Graphics on 225-1099 or 622-7113. If you'd like to change the look of your car, why not wrap it? Call 225-1099 or 622-7113. Why not put your business on a banner stand and showcase all that you can? Call us today on 225-1099 or 622-7113. Fast Graphics, located at 28 Railroad Line, Kitty. Call us today, 225-1099 or 622-7113. Giddens Payday Pawn Shop, the pioneer in the pawning business, is back on Rob Street. And Giddens is paying you the highest value for your gold jewelry. Just bring your jewelry into Giddens and get cash. Interest rates are reduced to 20% during this promotional period. Visit the new branch at 37 Rob Street next door to Eagles or call 227-7317. Giddens, the most trusted name in the pawning business. A name you can rely on. Call 231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001 for the service that is better than all the rest. Call Confidential Cabs, 231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001. Confidential Cabs, where safety comes first. Welcome back to Keys to Success.
Hi, I'm Vishnu Durga, CEO of Action Coach Guyana, and today I want to talk to you about gender-based violence. It is something that is very prevalent in our society, unfortunately, and we as a society need to do something about this because we continue to hamper our own development, and understanding where this really comes from is step number one. With gender-based violence, what we generally have happening is mental and physical abuse of either one of the genders. It is prevalent in our society that mostly females become the victims of such abuse and such violence, but it can also affect men. And there can also be situations where, because of the stigma, violence against men or abuse against men is not reported. So let us keep in mind that it could affect both genders equally. Now, why would someone want to mentally or physically abuse anyone else? Could it be because of their own lack of self-confidence? Could it be that they have seen this in the past and believe that this is normal? Could it be that they believe that overpowering someone or victimizing someone is the only way in which they themselves can feel as if they have worth, as if they have value? And once we realize that this is occurring, we need to first look at ourselves. And my intention for today is to make sure that we look at ourselves so that we ourselves don't become part of this chain of violence and abuse. What can we do in our own lives to make sure that we keep raising our level of value, that we do not need to devalue anybody else? Because when we commit acts of abuse, acts of violence on anybody else, all it really does is trying to devalue others so that we can somehow be superior to them. Now, the much better way of going about this is to make sure that you yourself realize that you have the ability to improve your own value, learn new methods, learn new things. It's about improving your knowledge, improving your skills, and improving your abilities. Every new skill that you learn and allows you to feel more self-confidence, raise that level of respect for yourself, and it allows you to be able to be in a position to actually share something with someone else, allowing you to, instead of devaluing somebody else, to add value to someone because you would have raised your own value. Some of the steps that are necessary is to make sure that you get into a very positive environment. A lot of people that we meet, they're in very negative environments where people continuously tell them that they might not amount to much, they might not be able to really achieve their own dreams. And being in a constant negative environment, there are very few people who actually break away from that or succeed whilst being in a negative environment. So what you do have to do is find positive groups, find people who lift you up instead of pull you down. Look for clubs and organizations, religious, educational, where people are just about developing themselves, where they have no intent in pulling anybody down. And that positive environment gives a lot of people the courage to start building the skills that are necessary. It's important as well that we as people in our society start talking to our children as well to make sure that the right behavior is positive behavior that builds, first of all, themselves, so that they're in a position to actually share value with others. Now, most of you might have known me from my nearly 17 years in the private sector now, and it is therefore very important that I give you some advice when it comes to companies, organizations, and the way that gender-based violence can also affect companies. Now, the reason why companies have employees is that there is work to be done, and by doing this work, companies then add value, companies get paid, and through companies earning an income, they're then able to start paying their staff. Now, if the people in your organization are affected by any such abuse, affected by any such violence, it should be registered at your human resource department level. I do know that a lot of our companies are still stuck in the personnel department era, where it was all about hiring, reprimanding, and firing. We've come a long way now, where we've come to the stage of strategic human resource management, performance management, where we understand that if our people don't operate at their maximum capacity, it will be very difficult for organizations to compete and deliver service that the marketplace out there is expecting from us. So being aware of what's happening to every single individual within your organization allows you to understand if they are affected by such violence. Counseling, either in-house, is one of the key ways in which you could help your employees. And if you don't have that skill built up in-house as yet, it's very important that you reach out to organizations that do have that skill and that can easily come into your organization, provide the counseling services there, or do it at their own base. It is important to know that employees that are empowered, employees who understand that the company is there to make sure that they continue to grow, will always give more than employees that have so much on their mind in abusive relationships, and that they're not even able to function and pay attention to what needs to be done at work. So other than this being the right thing to do, I think it's even more important to do it from a perspective of making sure that the company continues to grow and serve its shareholders as well. So please, companies out there, take a look at what's happening currently in your human resource management. Make sure that you pick up the signs of any type of abuse, and some of the simple signs are people coming in late, people wearing clothing that covers areas that normally would not be covered, people who seem very uneasy about making their own opinion heard, because wherever they're currently expressing it, it might not be valued, and they somehow develop the mindset that their opinion is not worth listening to. And once those signals are being picked up, you can do something about it. You can also have behavior where employees are overly aggressive, and if they're overly aggressive at work, it might also be that they're overly aggressive at home. And it would also be a good initiative from the organization to even sit people like that down as well and let them know what the consequences of such actions can be, not only on fellow employees but on their entire livelihood. So make sure that this becomes a priority for your organization. Guyana is moving into a whole different dynamics, a whole different paradigm where enforcement of regulations, more competition, a whole new stream of revenue that should be opening up to Guyana. We have industries which are dying. So a lot is changing about the way we do business in Guyana. Making sure that we take care of our people is one of the ways in which we can ensure that our companies and our organizations continue to exist and thrive.
For the best commercial signage and so much more, call Fast Graphics on 225-1099 or 622-7113. If you'd like to change the look of your car, why not wrap it? Call 225-1099 or 622-7113. Why not put your business on a banner stand and showcase all that you can? Call us today on 225-1099 or 622-7113. Fast Graphics, located at 28 Railroad Line, Kitty. Call us today, 225-1099 or 622-7113. Giddens Payday Pawn Shop, the pioneer in the pawning business, is back on Rob Street. And Giddens is paying you the highest value for your gold jewelry. Just bring your jewelry into Giddens and get cash. Interest rates are reduced to 20% during this promotional period. Visit the new branch at 37 Rob Street next door to Eagles or call 227-7317. Giddens, the most trusted name in the pawning business. A name you can rely on.
Call 231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001 for the service that is better than all the rest. Call Confidential Cabs, 231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001. Confidential Cabs. where safety comes first.
When you make that decision to grow, to not only get out of an abusive relationship, not only to stop being an abuser, but even for the normal human being out there, when you have made that decision to grow, any barriers that exist to your further development can be separated into two major areas, and we usually call them mindset areas or skill set areas. If there is something that you need to learn in order to get better, increase your value, that's skill set, and that is trainable, and after a specific amount of time, it takes time, you will have that skill and you will be on your way to actually deliver in that respect. However, there are a lot of things in our mind that keep us stuck. We have people who saying, I'm not good at maths. That is more a mindset thing than a skill set thing, because if you start understanding how important it is for you to understand maths, and you start telling yourself, I am in the process of becoming really good at maths, that is a switch that you need to really flip over in your mind so that you can actually do the learning. Because it makes no sense we tell you, learn this skill, and in the back of your mind you keep telling yourself, I'm not good at maths. That is the way in which you really sabotage yourself. So whatever is holding you back right now, understand, is it skill set, is it mindset? And if it is mindset, what is my self-limiting belief right now? Has someone told me in the past that I will never amount to something? Has someone told me that if I fail maths or English that my life is over? Whatever that self-limiting belief is, we have to now look at, where do I want to go? And either start believing that you are that person, or the easier way is, I'm in the process of becoming this. When you believe that, and when you understand that you are on the path to becoming a person of great value, then it is very difficult for you to hold yourself back and not grow. Pair that up with the necessary learning that you have to do, and make the time. A lot of people get caught up by things that are urgent and not important, and this comes from Stephen Covey's work on highly effective people. And if I can share that tip with you, the easiest way to know when something is not important is when it does not take you closer to your personal vision or your organization's vision. If you have an activity to do, anything that pops up, from spending an extra hour in bed, looking at your Facebook newsfeed, going shopping, reading a book, these are all activities. You now need to look at each one of these activities and say, is it important or is it not important? It will be important if it takes you closer to your vision that you hold for yourself. Great, do it. If it doesn't meet that requirement, dump it or delegate it, avoid it, minimize it, get rid of it. Next, you have the urgent continuum. Is something urgent? Is it not urgent? You have to be very careful when people are trying to get you to do things that are not important, and then they start creating a whole ton of urgency around it. You must do it now. It's the 50 WhatsApp messages, the 20 Facebook messages, 100 emails for things that don't move you closer to your vision, but people keep making a lot of noise about it. You need to get rid of those type of activities because they are distractions, they're delusions, and they take up so much of your time that could be much better spent. What I really would like you to get to is a place where you're focused on only important things that are not urgent. And how do things become not urgent? When you have decided to do them and you've put them in your calendar or your agenda to say, I'm going to do it at this specific time. Right? Because sometimes we put ourselves in situations where things suddenly become urgent just because we never scheduled it. We knew we had to go to a meeting next week. We never scheduled it. And then somebody calls us 5 minutes before the meeting, where are you? We're waiting for you. And that suddenly makes it urgent. So don't do these things to yourself. Anything that is important, start putting it down for when it needs to be done. And this includes your family. Make sure that you make time for your spouse, make time for your kids, make time for your parents, make time for anyone who is of value to you on a regular basis. If it's weekly, daily, make sure you put that time aside so that they can understand how much of value they are to you. If you treat them like an emergency, if you treat them as important and urgent, you will always end up in a situation where only when they make noise, only when you see an F, or only when you see the divorce papers, or only when you see everything, the bank is calling you and foreclosing on you, that is when you realize that, oh, it's an emergency, now I have to run and go do those things. Don't put yourself in that situation. Schedule what's important, do it when you have scheduled it to be done, and you'll see that that's the fastest way to get to where you need to go. As a closing message, I would also really urge you that no one on this earth deserves to be abused. Please understand that. Everyone has the right to live. Everyone has a right to a very good life, a life that is one that they can enjoy their life, that they can make the best out of the potential that they were blessed with. So in no way do I condone any such type of violence, any such type of abuse. I urge you to not to condone any such type of violence and abuse. If you see it, take action. If it is a dangerous situation, report it to the authorities. But let's put an end to violence.
We've all seen the headlines and we've read stories about men abusing women, but what we hear a lot less about are facts like this, okay? Every 38 seconds in this country, a man is being abused at the hands of a woman. Every 38 seconds. Kendra and Andrea have both hit, and they have punched, and they have spit at the men in their lives. Kendra's boyfriend, Marcus, is here now. Marcus, we saw in the tape what happens. Did you see that backstage? Were you watching it?
I saw it backstage.
When you're looking at that happen, what happens to you constantly, what are you thinking when you're looking at that, first of all?
I feel like she doesn't love me. Like, if you love somebody, you wouldn't go that far to get their attention or just do anything like that to somebody to hurt them, physically or mentally.
Why let her hit you like that?
I mean, me and Kendra, we have a son together. And I was raised without my father. I met my father when I was 11, he died when I was 12. And I always wanted to raise my son as a family. But all this going on, I mean, it's not worth it. I'd rather be a good father to my son like I've been doing without hurting my life.
See, now a lot of people would ask, probably want me to ask you, well, are you cheating on her? Are you this? Are you that? And I honestly think all of that is irrelevant. Whether you're faithful, whether you're cheating, it has nothing to do with getting hit. Like if we were to flip it and there was a guy beating on a woman and he was like, well, I think she's cheating on me, Tyra, and that's why I beat her. I wouldn't ask the girl, well, are you cheating on him? Like, what does that have to do with getting your ass beat? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's irrelevant. Are there people in your life that say, why are you putting up with this? They must know.
Yes, I mean, before my grandmother passed away, she used to always like see the abuse I got from Kendra. What happened to your face? Why is your head bleeding?
What do you say?
I mean, me and Kendra got into it. I'm not gonna lie to my grandmother. I told her the truth. Like, me and Kendra got into it.
What about work?
Again.
You go to work and you see the people that you work with?
I mean, when I go to work, I mean, I lie to my boss, basically. I tell him that, you know, I have a dog. Like, my dog scratched me up. We was playing too rough. Or I had broke up my cousins fighting each other. But, you know. Wow.
So it's like an abused woman. You know that's what women do. They say, I fell down the stairs, or I did this, or I did that. Right. But really, they're getting beat. Okay, Kendra, what do you want with Marcus? Do you want to take the relationship further? What do you want?
I love Marcus. Marcus, I love you. I love you with all my heart. And I want to marry you. And I know we need help. We need help, Marcus. And I need help. This relationship needs help. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I just need you to help me help myself. Please, that's what I'm asking.
I've been with you going on 4 years. We've been through a lot of stuff, a lot. And through the 4 years, that's all I took was your abuse. You saying the things that you say towards me that you know that hurt me. I had never had somebody break me down the way you break me down. Wow. Never. That's why
she wants to marry you. What do you want?
I'm not going to marry Kendra. I won't marry Kendra. Because what's going on right now, it's going to escalate and graduate to something else. From the hitting, the kicking, the biting, the spitting. Next time it won't probably be a stiletto in my head, probably be a bullet or a knife because of her anger.
I agree.
And I know I'm not perfect. I say things too I
that
say
you
things.
wait, you say that you love me, right?
Yeah, I love you.
Well, why won't you help me make this better?
Kendra, you say that you love him, but you beat him. Do you understand that love is not pain? Love is not attack? And you know, the most important thing before loving somebody else is self-love. And Marcus is finally showing that he loves himself. That's what he's showing right now. And without Marcus loving himself, he can't love you. Taking your beatings is not loving you. Staying is not loving you. That's showing your son a disgusting, negative, abusive relationship that he will either be the victim of or he will repeat and beat somebody else. So believe it or not, Marcus is showering you with so much love right now by saying, I don't want to be with you. And when you were saying that you need to help him, he needs to help you, help yourself. No, you need to help yourself, Kendra. You need to help yourself because you're hurting so much inside. We're going to be right back.
For the best commercial signage and so much more, call Fast Graphics on 225-1099 or 622-7113. If you'd like to change the look of your car, why not wrap it? Call 225-1099 or 622-7113. Why not put your business on a banner stand and showcase all that you can? Call us today on 225-1099 or 622-7113. Fast Graphics, located at 28 Railroad Line, Kitty. Call us today, 225-1099 or 622-7113.
Giddens Payday Pawn Shop, the pioneer in the pawning business, is back on Rob Street. And Giddens is paying you the highest value for your gold jewelry. Just bring your jewelry into Giddens and get cash. Interest rates are reduced to 20% during this promotional period. Visit the new branch at 37 Rob Street next door to Eagles or call 227-7317.
Giddens, the most trusted name in the pawning business. A name you can rely on.
Call 231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001 for the service that is better than all the rest. Call Confidential Cabs 231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001. Confidential Cabs, where safety comes first.
Hi, I'm Karen Borders, a domestic violence expert with Evidence Based Incorporated. And what I'd like to do is give you some information today about domestic violence. Domestic violence is about power and control. It affects the young, the old, rich or poor, people of all educational levels, people who come from different religious backgrounds, people who are in heterosexual relationships, people in same-sex relationships. One thing it doesn't do is discriminate. But there's one thing that is consistent throughout abusive relationships, and that is that abuse always escalates. Sometimes it escalates quickly. Sometimes it takes longer to escalate. It depends on the relationship. Some relationships are different. But it always escalates. And domestic violence involves emotional abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. The only way to stop abuse in a relationship is through intervention. And emotional abuse or verbal abuse, when you think about that, that involves name calling, it involves put downs, somebody telling you that you're ugly, you're fat, you're not worth anything, that you don't belong with them or anybody else, that you should be lucky that they're even with you, that they're going to potentially call immigration against you because perhaps you are in this area where you're living illegally, that you don't deserve to even live, perhaps. All of these things that hurt to the core when somebody says something to you. If somebody truly loves you and cares about you, they're going to say things that build you up, not bring you down. When you think about a physical abusive relationship, you're thinking about somebody that is perhaps pushing you around, pulling on you, pulling your hair, pushing you, kicking you, hitting you, punching you. And then sometimes they resort to weapons. They'll use whatever they can get their hands on. Sometimes they'll use knives, sometimes they'll use guns, sometimes they'll use baseball bats, or anything that they can get their hands on. I've seen forks used as weapons. I've seen power tools used as weapons. Anything and everything used as weapons. There's no excuse for anybody getting physical with somebody else. These are just some of the things to consider. If you are in an abusive relationship or you think you're in an abusive relationship, please reach out to somebody, get some help. You can find us on the web at ebinc.com or reach out to your local shelter or local police department. Thanks for your time.
Well, this is all we've got for the show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. From Kirk, Keys to Success, an action coach. See you next time. Bye-bye.